Great skills again by him. Oh, marvellous goal by Luther.
Welcome to the Rangers Journal.
Yes, hello everybody, it is me, it is Andrew, and you are live with the Rangers Journal. Of course, we are doing all the pre-match build-up for our game at home versus Motherwell. It's quite a nice 3pm kick-off on a Saturday, and Rangers haven't had the chance to ruin our Boxing Day, so absolutely brilliant. But I'm joined with two fantastic saltwoods of the Rangers Journal, and of course we have a special guest as well who's looking to join. So first I'll come at you, Jock. Jock, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Just enjoying the Christmas period and the break. And as you say, Rangers did ruin Boxing Day, thankfully. So we'll see how the day goes. I just hope you all had a great Christmas as well, guys.
Oh, do you know what? Yeah, I absolutely love Christmas. I love Christmas anyway, and it's just a lovely time of year. It just eat, drink, be merry, and yeah, absolutely fantastic. But no, good to see you, Jock. Next but not least, last minute sub there on after a late fitness test. Mitch, how you doing? Merry Christmas, big man.
Merry Christmas, mate. I don't know if I'm passing any fitness tests, mind you, after the last couple of days.
You've seen our starting lineups normally, so I don't think you'd be it wouldn't be any worse, mate. So don't you worry. But no, good to have you on, Mitch, and good to have your opinion as well. Last but not least, it is Billy. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. Happy Christmas.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, I'm doing okay. As I was just saying to you before this started, my wife has found the new Outlander offshoot series. So we realised we live next to one of the castles that's used in it. So we've just been for a wee walk around there, and it's not a horrible afternoon, but it's brisk. I'll say that much. I wish I'd brought a jacket.
Do you know, I could just imagine you now just walking around where you live with just a kilt on and just between some nice glens.
My wet bandits hat, as you were saying before.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, good to have you on as well. And yeah, as we look ahead to Motherwell now. So before we get into the pre-match stuff, we'll have the team news as soon as it comes live. Hello to everyone in the comments. We'll get through a few comments very shortly. But don't forget, today's pod, as always, is proudly sponsored by the good guys over at the Bluebells Bar, Puerto del Carmen in glorious Lanzarote. I bet that was absolutely fantastic at Christmas time there. A bit of sun, sea and sand for Christmas. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? So when you are over into the sunny Spanish Canary Islands, you'll find a warm welcome at the only Rangers bar in Puerto del Carmen. Family friendly, eat, drink, chill or party, and every Rangers game, including the Motherwell game now, will be live there. So there's nothing better than a bit of sun, sea and sand in the scorching heat with a nice drink in your hand watching the Rangers. So if you are in Lanzarote, do pop in and say hi. And of course, don't forget, you can see the scrolling message at the bottom. We do have an Etsy store. If you've got a little bit of money for Christmas and you want to get one of our fantastic either t-shirts or hoodies, there's some great clothes and bits on there. So do head to Etsy, type in the Rangers Journal, all one word, and you will find the store there. So, right, let's get into it. So, Jock, I'm going to come to you first. Obviously, John Souttar is back in training. It might be a little bit soon for him for this game. Obviously, been out for about 8 games with a muscle injury. We've had Nasa Dija, Africa Cup of Nations duty currently. Obviously, Derek Cornelius still out. Bajrami and Antman remain out with their muscle injuries. And but don't worry, Rabbi Matondo's close to making a comeback. So, Jock, do you expect any major changes from the team that faced Hearts today? What do you reckon?
I don't think so, but then he might surprise us. You never know. He might just try something different again. Depends what way he wants to sort of set up against Motherwell, because they play a particular brand of football, something that we obviously tried earlier on in the season, and we found out quite quickly we weren't very good at it. And that's why we're sort of in the position we're in now, aren't we? Yeah, I mean, I'm all for change. There's, like you say, there's a couple of guys there that probably are due minutes, and why not at this rate? They can only offer as much as what the next person that's been starting games for the last couple of games. Where you see, I'm talking like guys like Larry Raskin and such names where it's they've just kind of been passengers, Diamande passengers in games. Give somebody else a go and see how they get on. It's this time of year, injuries rack up, positions are going to become available through that. So we need to sort of see what else is on offer within the team, because you can't keep picking the same players over and over again.
Yeah, no, definitely. Mitch, obviously, Motherwell, we played them in the opening game of the season. We started the first half fairly well and then just dropped off, and it seemed to just drop off completely throughout Russell Martin's reign after that. Obviously, we got a 1-1 draw at Fir Park. Motherwell have been a little bit of a dark horse. They've kind of snuck up into third. They've been a little bit unassuming, but they've been getting some consistent results. They're completely unbeaten in December. They had a good result over Livingston and got draws against Dundee United and Falkirk. Do you expect this to be a bit of a challenge today, Mitch?
I think the opening 20 minutes for me sets the tone of the rest of the game, and I think after the game against Hearts, there's a lot of people within the squad in general, not necessarily in the starting 11, that need to nail down, why they deserve to be in the team right now. And that's going to involve, some commanding performances. We've touched on guys there like Raskin, who's been subpar, for quite a bit of this season. Apparently Danny Rose sat down and had a half-hour one-to-one with him and basically gave him his character and his improvements list. It's up to these players now to show, exactly, that they've bought into what Danny Rose told them. They understand the instruction. And they also understand that, let's be honest, in some people's cases, they're playing for the futures at this point as well. So I expect to see a lot of heart within the team. And I will say, and again, it's not the bit, it's not a bit there, but I think Chermiti getting his goal, at the end of that game, against Hearts, I'm hoping that kind of helps him kick on a little bit, into this game here, and it maybe gives him a wee bit of a run of form.
Yeah, hopefully it does. And we do have the team sheet now. So, Billy, I'm just going to read it out and then I'll come to you. We'll have a little delve into the team selection. But Jack Butland in goals. It's Tavernier, Sterling, Fernandez, Magoma, Barron, Raskin, Diamande, Asgard, Gassama and Chermiti. And we can see the bench is Kelly, Suter. So Suter has made the bench. Aarons, Dowell, Curtis, Cameron, Moore, Miovski and Danilo. So, Billy, any surprises there not in the starting 11 for you?
I mean, there's no reason Aarons should think he should get a start, but he has been getting started ahead of Tav, and that does look more like a 4-3-3 again, with a traditional back four. So Sterling obviously coming in there next to Fernandez. I'm very disappointed to see Asgard and Diamande in the team. Neither of them have done anything to warrant a start, never mind being on the bench. They need to get so far away from this club. It's untrue, really. So he's working with what he's got, I guess, but I still would have liked to have seen they two not in the starting lineup. But Barron certainly deserves his place. Magoma, I don't think has done anything particularly wrong, although we do need another left back. I don't want to steal everybody's points because I see the other two nodding along, so I'll let you come to them. But yeah, that's my standout for just seeing it initially.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm just still trying to digest it myself. But one big glaring thing, Jock, Mikey Moore's not starting. Is that a wise choice, or is this possibly due to fitness? Do you think?
It's hard to know actually, because unless I'm hoping that's the case, and it's just a case we don't want to start him. We'll give him 30 minutes, and then keep him fresh for obviously the bigger game coming up later on in the week. Or next week, sorry. As Billy's touched on, Asgard there and for Mikey Moore hasn't done enough to warrant a start. Hasn't shown enough in the time that he's been here. I'm hoping it's a case of just more managing him, and there's maybe a niggle, something that's maybe picked up at the end of the last game and it's carried across over the Christmas break. But I say we'll know more whenever he gives his press conference.
Yeah, no, definitely. Mitch, you were talking about Chermiti, you were talking about his goal at Tynecastle. Is that why he's starting today, do you reckon?
I think it's a reward for his improved performances the last couple of games. We've seen, now let's be honest, it was the game prior to Hearts. Don't know where the fake confidence came from. I don't know if it was a touch of fake it till you make it with him, but he had a really good performance, again, in the game prior to Hearts, and then got the goal at the end. Now, obviously, sadly for him, it was a goal that in the end meant nothing for anybody, but, there is maybe a wee element of, is this him now maybe starting to find a little bit of form, but You know, I don't know if that's blind faith and optimism before Billy shouts at me.
No,
But
no, no. I'm with
you
you,
know,
mate.
and at the end of the day, I think that when you look at the lineup as a whole, we also all need to remember as well. There's a lot of football to be played over the next 2 or 3 weeks at the moment as well. So we should be seeing some guys, kind of alternating into the team. Guys like Curtis, Cameron should maybe get some minutes. Moore, again, this is Moore's first proper, festive season as a senior footballer. Bearing in mind he's only 18. So it could be that we maybe say to him, I tell you what, Deal, you take a half, Moore, you take a half, try and kind of balance out the workload for everybody. Because, as you say, there's still some noticeable absentees in the team, with Bajrami being out at the moment, Ant-Man still being out at the moment. And I'm not going to stick up for Asgard a little bit here, but to kind of go against the grain, the last two sub appearances that he's made, it does. I don't know if I'd necessarily say he merits a starting position, but he has come on and made an impact despite the fact that others around him had already chucked the towel in. So we're never going to get him in form if we don't play him. So, but as a wee bit of a kind of knock a few bucks situation for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. Jock, I'll come to you. One thing Mitch was saying there was about rotation and the ability to do that. We've got a lot of games coming up over the next few weeks. You look at a team like Motherwell normally, you look at our overall stats, which we've played 105 times against Motherwell over the years. We've won 72, we've drawn 21, and we've lost 12. So you would think maybe this is the game for a bit of rotation. However, though, you look at our last three results against Motherwell. So it was a 1-1 draw on the 2nd of August. We lost 2-1 on the 1st of March at Ibrox, which was another record that we managed to break, not for the better. And then December last year, the 29th of December, 1 year ago, it was Motherwell 2, Rangers 2. Can we afford to really make any major changes and play players like Curtis at the minute, or have you got to go with your strongest 11?
I see your point, and obviously you're going by the recent results against them. I've been I was going to say a bit of a bogey team, but most of the league's been a bit of a bogey team against us, haven't they? Particularly last season as well. Obviously that terrible home run that we went on at Ibrox, where we just couldn't buy one for love nor money. Even Barry Ferguson couldn't get a one out of that Rangers team against the rest of the sort of poor teams in the league. So yeah, again, I suppose you have to look at it. You obviously you want to play your strongest squad. As you all know, there's not much quality there in terms of squad depth. We are looking at players to come off the bench and give some sort of performance that puts them in contention for the next game, to try and give the manager something to think about. But he's only got a small sort of core of players to work with that are decent quality or have glimpses of quality, which we've seen again in glimpses across the season. It's not been consistent enough. So he obviously has ones he thinks he can trust, and he's going with that. Like I say, that's why probably Cameron's not getting the game, because I just don't think Cameron's been on the pitch long enough to give him something to build on in terms of, right, I know I can trust this guy, I know I can pick him, he can do a job. He likes players that play in multiple positions and can do different types of jobs as well. So I think that's what he's doing. He's just basically using the utility players in there, and they're the ones that are getting the most games.
Yeah, no, definitely. Mitch, we last beat Motherwell in a 2-1 victory in August 2024, so well over a year ago. We've never in our club's history gone 4 games without a win against the Steelmen. Are we winning this today?
3-1.
3-1. Who's your goal scorers?
I'm going to go Chermiti, because I have to back the boy now that I've justified his inclusion. I feel like Raskin's probably long overdue one. Just to kind of properly, if he wants to shut some of the noises up from the stands, the best way to shut us all up, go and do your job. Go and do your job and go and be a leader on the park. Because I think this is where players like Raskin, Tav, your Raskins, your Tavs, your Diamandis, the players, even Sterling to a certain extent, that have been around for a while, they need to step up and they need to start being vocal to everybody and saying, look, you are not standing back and playing like you've eaten too much over the last 2 days. You will start like a greyhound out the traps. And it's up to them to start launching rockets and get players ready from the outset. and we'll go for a wee customary Tav free kick just off the back of it.
A wee customary Tav free kick. I haven't seen one of them in a while. That's good. No, I like that. 3-1, that's a nice one. Billy, looking over our kind of stats this season, we've won 3 of our 4 home league games under Danny Rule so far. But previous to that, under Russell Martin, we only won 2 of our previous 10. Does our current form show that we probably should win this one today?
I'm worried our current form is slipping back into the Russell Martin form, to be honest with you, Andrew. But I do agree with Mitch. I think it will be a 3-1. That's the scoreline I'd picked out earlier on. And I do think you're going to get some of these under fire players like Asgard and Chimiti maybe showing us, maybe not a goal, but showing us something today, because I think by the looks of it, I mean, the manager said he sat down with Raskin, had a good half-hour discussion with him. He's probably done that with a fair few of these guys. So coming out the traps, like Mitch is saying, really hope for it. I'm not saying 100% believe it right now, but I'm hoping that we see that, and that, and some of these players that are getting it in the neck, deservedly, I would say, that they maybe try and show us that you should be able to go into that dressing room and show them the Motherwell 11 and go, you are better than all of these, or you should be better than all of these players, and liven them up, send them out there like a firework, and hopefully get those 3 early goals in the first half and just have a boring second half.
Oh, do you know, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? We can actually relax and crack open the Baileys and just sit back and, generally chit-chat, because the job's been done. We don't get that enough these days. We don't get that
I do
enough.
actually have a Baileys in the cupboard, Andrew. You just reminded me.
You can't go wrong with Baileys at Christmas. It's brilliant. Jock, obviously, Mitch was talking about a James Tavernier free kick goal. That's what he reckons is going to be in the bag. Well, if you look at James Tavernier's record against Motherwell, he's been directly involved in 18 goals in 27 Premiership appearances. 9 goals, 9 assists, only having a hand in more against St Johnstone and Ross County. So he's a bit like Cedric Eaton. He kind of doesn't like Motherwell very much. Could he be key today? Now he's back in the lineup and has the captain's armband.
Well, he has that ability. We know that he has, set piece delivery, forward passes, balls into the box. He has that in his locker, and we've seen it, and we've been, I'd say, blessed with it for the best part of a decade. It's a case of, can he put it all together and it just all come together in a match day performance? Hopefully it's today, and hopefully it starts around, because he's been sort of hit and miss this last couple of games where he's had a bad game, but he's still sort of, he's been poor defensively, which we all know it's just part and parcel with Tav. It's you take the rough with the smooth, and you have to obviously praise the stuff that happens going forward and the opportunities that he creates for the rest of the team. Ideally, I'd take a Tav penalty at this rate. If it's a free kick, I'd take anything, because he's due a penalty as well. We're due a penalty. Well, it's been a while. It's something you more often than not you can rely on. You can put the mortgage on to score the penalty as well. So, yeah, hopefully see a good performance from him. I get a good captain's performance at Christmas at Ibrox, lift the fans a bit and get us back onto a upward trajectory.
Yeah, no, definitely, I do agree. Well, I've got the Motherwell lineup here if anyone is interested. So it's Ward in goal, Contribius, I'm terrible with some of the pronunciation, so I do apologise. McGinn, Welsh, Longalo, Fadinger, Watt, Sparrow, Just, Hendry and Said. Any of them names stick out there for you, Mitch? There is some names, recognisable names on the Motherwell bench, like O'Donnell, Gordon Slattery, Stamilopoulos. I think these people normally are quite good against the Old Firm, so maybe they might create a bit of an impact later on in the game. Maybe that's part of the game plan, keep it tight, and hopefully attack later when we're maybe a bit tired. What do you reckon, Mitch?
I reckon there's weaknesses in that Motherwell team at the moment, and I think one of the big obvious ones to take, that's in our favour at the moment is the winger lad that's away to AFCON just now. He's been absolutely electric. He's literally arrived in Scotland and taken the mickey out of the league. And he's one of these players that, aside from today, and thankfully he's not playing for them today, you can probably see Motherwell making another good few quid on, probably in the summertime when somebody comes in for him. But, at the back, Stephen Welsh is not he's not a world beater at the back. What Chermiti has to do is what he did against Hearts centre-back, was it Frankie Kent, rather. He has to just go in there and assert himself and bully. Actually just go and bully the centre-back. You are 6'4", you are a gangly, big, strapping young lad. Go and bully them. Go and bully the pair of them, because we can see that he can hold a ball up, and if he can bring the likes of Raskin and Diamande into a game behind him, there's easy pockets there. All he has to do is put in an actual striker's performance of hold the ball up well, create the channels, and it's up to his teammates to run into those channels. But in terms of the overall names in the Hearts team sheet, there's not anybody that kind of strikes fear into your heart, so to speak. It's just we need our players to pull their fingers out and go and do their job.
Yeah, no, do agree. It's Zimbabwe international Tawanda Maswanhise, I think is the pronunciation. But again, I'm terrible at that. I can barely speak English as it is, so I do apologise. I do apologise, everyone. But yeah, so we've got to be honest here, Billy. We've not probably focused on Motherwell this season, but they are third for a reason. They've had a fairly strong start. They're kind of probably at the level of probably Hibs in some respects, the way that they play. Obviously, speaking of Hibs at the minute, they are, I think last time I looked, 3-0 up against Hearts, which I don't think is a scoreline a lot of people would have predicted today. I think that kind of opens the door a little bit. Obviously, we can only focus on what is there. I'm going to start going round and asking for predictions. So, Billy, we already know what Mitch has said. He said 3-1. He's not going to back out from that. He's got his new Dessers in Chamiti. He likes to go against the grain, doesn't he? So, what do you reckon, Billy? What's your prediction for today?
I agreed with Mitch. I said 3-1 was probably what I thought was the most likely outcome. I mean, you mentioned the team sheet. You've got O'Donnell. You've got McGinn. These are solid SPL players, but we should, on paper, have a better team than them. And at home, we should be able to impose our game onto them today. I mean, to be honest with you, things fell off the wagon last week after the 40th minute when they scored. I'm not saying it was against the grain, but we were playing well, and we just need to keep that going. I think you mentioned it, whether at the beginning of the pod or maybe even before, the goal being chopped off changed. I think our heads went down after that, and we just need to not let that happen. So I'm agreeing with Mitch. 3-1.
3-1. That seems to be the strong scoreline today. Do you know what? Speaking of that game at Tynecastle, and I genuinely believe that, I think if that goal had stood, if it had been onside, I think the game changes completely enough, because I think we were really growing into that game, and we weren't exactly pinning them back, but we were having several corners and things. It was looking good, but obviously it's not the way football works, and it's about mentality when things go against you. So yeah, one of those. Jock, you're going to have the final say here. So everyone's saying 3-1. What's your scoreline for today?
I'm hoping that Motherwell have had a heavy Christmas dinner today. Boxing Day dinner, and they're going to be a bit sluggish, so I'm going to go 4-0 Rangers.
They've had the cheeky Baileys in the morning. It's unsettled them a little bit. So you're going 4-1 Rangers, is it, Jock?
4-0. I'll say 4-0. I think we'll get a clean sheet. I think we'll do all right today. Hope the players will be up for it, and I say they had that extra day's holiday, so hopefully they reward the manager with that break by putting in a good shift and a good performance and setting us off into the new year.
Do you know what that is? It's a lot of goals in this today. We haven't really scored that many goals this year, so I'm quite surprised there's quite a lot of goals in this. But the Motherwell manager, Danish manager, Jans Barthel Askew, isn't it? Very highly rated. So it'll be interesting to see what he does and how he maybe changes things up for the visit of us today, because he's been very strong. Maybe a philosophy manager, but I think philosophy football kind of suits clubs a little, like Motherwell, I think, a little bit better, and that's how they're kind of strong. I'm going to go 2-0 Rangers. I just don't see us scoring 4. I'd love to see us scoring 4. I'd love to see us scoring 3. Guys, get your comments in. What do you think the scoreline's going to be? That's what I'm going with. I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0. Jock's going with 4-0. Mitch is going with 3-1. Billy's going with 3-1. We'll just go through the team one last time, because we're getting towards the 25-minute mark now. So if you haven't seen the starting 11 via Motherwell, it's Jack Butland in goal. It's James Tavernier, Sterling, Fernandez, Migoma, Barron, Raskin, Diamande, Asgard, Gassama, and Chamiti leading the line. So, Jock, you're going to be back with a post-match, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm back with the post-match. So there's a couple of us on digesting that, and then we have a members-only pod later on this evening as well. Going to talk about the some of our wingers we've had over the years. We'll do a wee throwback and just have a wee feel good pod, depending on how the day goes.
Yeah, exactly. No, the members pods are absolutely fantastic, guys. There's more information on the members pods on YouTube, and click on the members area and you'll be able to see all the information there. It's 99p a month. It's absolutely fantastic. So there's some great pods there on the Rangers Journal Network. So I'm just going to say goodbye to everyone. So Jock, thank you for coming on, mate.
No, thanks for having me. Pleasure as always.
Yep, see you on the post-match. Jock will be doing the post-match, and hopefully it is 3 points for Rangers. Mitch, thank you for coming on, mate.
Always a pleasure, never a chore.
Always a pleasure, never a chore. Thank you ever so much, Mitch. And last but not least, the Wet Bandit, Billy. Thank you for coming on, mate.
Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, good to see you all, and hopefully we get a win today.
And hopefully we do get a win today. Don't forget, guys, this pod is sponsored by the Bluebells Bar, Puerto del Carmen, Lanzarote. Do not forget, head in there if you are in the Spanish Canary Islands. The guys are fantastic there, and they proudly sponsor the Rangers Journal. Guys, every night is a Rangers Journal night. Take care, and I hope it's a 3 points for Rangers. On the Gers.
Every night is the Rangers Journal night.